station. Can't you hear the sound that's in the air? It's rock and roll. 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 It's rock and roll.
And now for something completely different.
Forget everything you've been told by others before. Get ready for the real deal, the full story, real talk about money, markets, life. Now, it's The Real Investment Show, presented by RIA Advisors.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Financial Fitness Friday. I'm Rich Rosso, CFP, Danny Ratliff, CFP. Thank you for joining us on this 4th of July weekend, long weekend. Yay!
You have big plans?
Yeah, I'm not leaving the house. How about you?
Good for you. It's too hot to leave the house. But actually, we've had a bit of a cool front. I think I was
yesterday, I will tell you, I was sitting in the yard. I was like, wow, it was like 85 degrees.
Yeah.
It was like 20 degrees cooler. It was like I needed my sweats, my sweatpants and my flannel shirt. It was fall all over again.
Isn't that something when 85 degrees
Feels
is a cool front?
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness.
Something's not right when that's
Let
the
me
case.
get my jacket.
Yeah. Goosebumps.
Speaking of cool fronts, maybe cold fronts, this is the worst start to a year since 1970 for the S&P 500. Oh, 1970. If we could only go back. John Wayne wins Best Actor for one of my favorite films, True Grit. Popular TV shows, Ironside. Here's Lucy, Gunsmoke. Marcus Welby always annoyed me. He was like the Dr. Fauci of television at that point. I didn't like him at all. He always knew what the hell was going on. And he didn't. The other dude did. What was his name? The suave other doctor with the dark hair. I can't remember. Some Vince Everett I can't remember. No, that's Dr. Kildare. I don't know. I'm all over the place. All I know is stinky first start of the year for the S&P 500. Any comments there? I mean, Danny wasn't even a thought in his parents' mind in 1970. But
no, I was not.
Were his parents even together in 1970?
No, they were still in high school.
They were not.
They were still in grade school. You know what the average house cost in 1970?
Not much.
$26,650. The new car, $3,543. How do you like that?
I like it.
Yeah. Good times. Although Good Times wasn't around yet. We had to wait a few years for Dynamite. I had a friend of mine go, do you know Jimmy J.J. Walker is doing Medicare commercials? I said, where the hell have you been? Yes.
That's just
So what do you think about this S&P 500 there, Daniel?
I think it's interesting. We need to watch and be cautious because a lot of the verbiage or rhetoric that I'm hearing now is that, the worst first half of the year. But last time this happened, the market did 26% the second half of the year.
Yeah.
I'm seeing analyst reports. Apple's going to be up 40% from where we are today to the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those deals where you don't want to get sucked back into it. And that's what I think everybody needs to be cautious with.
This is the part of The Revenant where Leo DiCaprio walks away and he aims the gun at that bear thinking he's done. And that bear is just overconfident, ready to go. And then that bear's going to come back and maul him one more time. Yeah. You know what? The bond market might be paying attention now, Danny, when you look at the 10-year, right? When Lance talks about where bonds might be And Michael, and it's very true, it's just like the bond market really hasn't caught up to what's the deal. And then the Atlanta Fed GDP now comes out revised. We talked about it in our meeting yesterday, and that's now negative. So we've had 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. I mean, again, it is an estimate. We get another revision today, I think. So, we have to take it with a grain of salt. But listen, the numbers are headed in the wrong direction, and I think the bond market finally paid attention.
Yeah, watching it go from 2.5 to 3.5 in a matter of months.
Now,
and then
was it
back
under 3?
Down, 2.95 right now. Mm-hmm. No, but that doesn't mean. I mean, look, this thing's going to continue to bounce around. I would suspect.
You're right. It will.
I don't think it's found a bottom, so to speak, or maybe it has. I don't know. But we were always concerned and always thought around that 3.5% range that things really started to slow down, and that's actually what we're beginning to see.
We are absolutely seeing that, and we look at consumer confidence, the lowest it's been, I think, since they've registered. When you look at the University of Michigan numbers, it makes sense. There's a lot of financial distress out there. You have to take it in perspective of what bear markets are, what they do. Obviously some sectors have held up. This, and to Lance brought up this point, I talked about it with a client the other day. I said, this is he goes, well, this bear market feels different. I'm like, I hate to say it. I've been through a few. It doesn't. It feels like a typical bear market to me. It's very orderly. You see a lot of sector rotation into areas you think would still work, and then they break down, like consumer staples and utilities, anything that you would consider defensive. But it doesn't feel different. It feels like, again, we're in this denial stage emotionally of, oh, well, this is, buy the dip. I still hear that, to your point, Danny. Mm-hmm. I still hear, buy this stock and in 5 years you'll be happy and all this junk. We are not at that level of despondency yet to tell me we're at a bottom, at least emotionally. Obviously, there are some stocks out there that are so trashed with decent PEs and cash flows that, if you have cash and you want to start it to dip into those, there's nothing wrong with that. But the point is, there's just too much emotional denial. And I think the Fed's also responsible for that, Danny. When you think about, you're in denial, you just think the Fed's going to come out and do something. They have to. They've always done it. It means this generation of investors. And you know what? The inflation numbers show that that's just really not the case.
But I can't think of a time where the Feds come out and they actually say, hey, we are in a recession. Things are bad until it's after the point, right? We find out that we're already there.
Are you trying to say we're slow, Danny? We're very slow.
Just a little bit.
It's like the elastic in my granny panties. It has really worn out my whole excuse of things.
I made him speechless with that one.
Am I supposed to talk after that? Sorry. I don't even know what to say anymore.
I got him with that one. No, but you're right, Danny. You know what? You don't hear the truth. The truth comes from the data. Thank goodness we look at the data. Because if we had to listen to the crap that comes out of these people's mouths every day of what they're trying to get us to swallow, it really is. And again, I don't think it's political more than it is a finesse of things. I don't think, regardless of party, I think the Fed would still be doing this kind of word dance to
they
make
would
things
because
look
it's
better.
become political. And that's the problem, right? They're trying to save their job because of the politics behind it. So,
that
doesn't matter
part
if you
of
have
it,
a
yeah.
Democrat or Republican in the White House. They're going to be doing the exact same thing, and they're going to be pushing them towards, hey, try to sustain this, make things right, keep everybody calm.
I wonder what President Trump would have done now. Like, he used to press the Fed that.
Oh man,
I wonder if he'd be saying lower rates. Meanwhile, we got this inflation. It would be interesting to see the dynamic.
Well, think about it. Back in 2018, we had a different scenario. We did not have the inflation. So, and he was all over Powell in 2018 to lower rates, to your point. So
we'll continue as we get back. But Lance was on Charles Payne yesterday and saying the same thing. The Fed was late. They had they had many chances, even during the pandemic, to pull back on emergency procedures at least. At least when that fiscal response wave of money came, they should have been pulling back.
Well, they should have been more thoughtful and more deliberate with where those funds went.
That second fiscal package, that was that problem. There were a lot of problems. We get back, we want to talk about, hey, How many consumers are that are earning a certain dollar amount, $250,000 or more, living paycheck to paycheck? I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're going to talk about some stuff when we get back here. Financial Fitness Friday. Stay tuned.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Hurricane season is here, and along the Texas Gulf Coast, we know how to prepare. What we don't always know is which way the storm will go, and if a hurricane does come your way, whether your house will flood. Fortunately, you can get flood insurance. Unfortunately, flood insurance rates have skyrocketed. Don't be at risk. Let the specialists at RIA Insurance assess your needs and shop your coverage for the best rates possible. Another service from realinvestmentadvice.com. Click on the insurance tab, realinvestmentadvice.com.
Do you know what you don't know when hiring and retaining quality employees? Compensation is more than just wages. It's personal time off, the vacation days, healthcare benefits, a 401k. Do you know what's important to them? Hi, I'm Tom Allen, RIA Advisors Retirement Plan Consultant. Let us show you how to make the most of an affordable, effective package that will deliver true value for your business and your employees. Call me toll-free at 855-RIA-PLAN or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Could your job still be at risk? A new normal can still include new obstacles. A severance package can be an emotional as well as a financial decision to consider. Wouldn't it be comforting to review the options for you and your family with an objective financial partner? At RIA Advisors, we're here to help. From severance pay, tax timing decisions to how to maximize unemployment benefits, the RIA team wants to make sure you can do what's best for your family. There's no charge for a consultation, so reach out to RIA Advisors, 855-RIA-PLAN, RIAadvisors.com.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. Bulls win in bull markets. Bears win in bear markets. Eagles soar above and take advantage of opportunity. Let us help you soar as you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
I would vote for one of our YouTubers to head the Fed over Powell. 100 basis point move next move, hike this month. They should do it, but they won't. They should. They should make that kind of move. They should go 100 basis points. I would say get it out of the way, front load it. We know the pain's coming. The numbers tell us. Just get it out of the dang way.
Or get it over with. And, we're already seeing the futures are pointing towards a cut in 2023?
Well, and Lance is on that. When you think about it, they're raising rates to cut them again. Mm-hmm. Right? It's just how obstinate inflation's going to be. But that's what they're doing. They're raising rates so they can cut them. It's it's so many interesting things. I'm coming out with my blog next week. Actually, when Lance gets back, I'm going to finish running it. My 5 best summer reads. And there's one, The Lords of Easy Money. It's really about the Fed through that 2008, 2010 period. And Thomas Honig, who really was a dissenter through the whole process and talking about the long-term implications of Fed actions. He was always sort of odd man out. That's what stands out. And then Ben Bernanke's new book, which I just started, and I'm already pulling my hair out of my head.
So is his factual or is his just from his perspective? Is it under fiction or nonfiction in the
the Lords of the Lords of Easy Money, that's a good one. Yeah. That's factual. This one, Bernanke, is his, he's going through this whole process, bloviating about what he thinks is going to happen. So far, it's okay.
So what does he think is going to happen here?
I'm not really full through it yet. But there's obviously climate change and some other junk in there I really don't want to talk about. I don't think the Fed's job is to be involved in that process. But
Well,
that's
it shouldn't
just
be.
me.
And they've even talked about through their mandates, nor is it the Treasury Secretary's job to be
No.
involved in that either. But
No.
unfortunately, that's where we are in this day and age and this climate. So the interesting thing, though, is that I think that he's probably likely going to say that, we're gonna be able to maneuver this soft landing. And unfortunately, think about all the implications and the impact this easy money had for all these years. You start taking the punch bowl away, what do people expect?
No, and again, listen, I'm not even arguing what they did through 2008 to 2010. And what was talked about with Thomas Hoenig was the fact that he said, listen, you have to understand, you got to pull it back. This is a wild horse, right? And you're going to ride it, but you're going to have to pull back on the reins eventually. What are your signals to do so?
Well, they don't know. They haven't done
There
it.
aren't
I
any.
mean, what?
We still don't know.
Yeah, here we go.
We still don't know. Well, here's an interesting story. This is a collaboration between Paycheck report from Payments and Lending Club. This is the High Earners Edition. Listen, we all heard the stories about people living paycheck to paycheck, but this survey was a bit eye-opening for me, Danny. Slightly more than 1 in 3 consumers annually earning $250,000 or more are living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I'm not really getting that. So we understand this. Close to 2/3 of the U.S. population, this is from the study, that's 157 million adults, live paycheck to paycheck, making it the main financial lifestyle in the, U.S. Okay, so through lower incomes generally correlate with financial distress, but 36% of consumers who earn $250,000 or more live paycheck to paycheck. Danny, what the heck? What are we doing wrong here from a financial perspective or
We're living way above our
finance
means.
perspective?
I mean, that's the problem, right? We don't pay ourselves first anymore. We pay the man because we're in debt. And I mean, it's a simple equation here. I mean, if you spend more than you make, that's going to be a problem. And what's happened is now we put everything, think about all the subscriptions. Everything that we have is automated and we're paying it over and over. And we think, it's no big deal. It's just this much. Well, guess what? It all adds up. And you think about the home, the car payments, you add everything else up with it. And people are stretched. And it's unfortunate. And, we've seen this, especially here recently. I feel really bad for people who are out there trying to go buy something right now or actually physically need a home.
Who need them.
Not want,
and
right?
You actually
You
need a car.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we have people that come to me and they lament, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car. They have a house, they have a car. I'm like, don't do anything right now. Just stay put. Shut up, sit down.
Yeah, or I'll give you my yelling voice.
You're going to have to back off.
Listen, back off, buddy. Listen, you got to, Danny, the immediate gratification is off the charts. Living paycheck to paycheck as far as living on payments is off the charts. Lads showed that now we have households dipping into using credit cards to make ends meet at the tune of roughly $6,300 a year. So obviously, listen, 1/3 of those earning, and this is from the report, obviously, of those earning more than $250,000 have average or below average credit scores. I mean, these people got a burn rate for cash.
I mean, that's I don't know. It's eye-opening. I mean, it's stuff we know,
I wonder
right?
how many of these people are brokers and financial advisors. I really would love to see that number.
Well, it's always interesting. Like, we'll drive around and my wife will say, well, I don't understand how people afford all this stuff. Like, just because we know how expensive things are, and we're always trying to do the right thing and save first. And it's it'll give you a little bit of fatigue when you start thinking about what are these people going through with all the payments. Or you go on vacation, and I think we do a pretty good job. We'll go out to eat, we split meals sometimes. I mean, people think we're broke when we do stuff a lot of times, but you see how much it is on the other end of it.
You're a good fiscal steward of your money. But here's the thing. You're also an example for your children. My daughter's been keeping a budget since she's 12 years old, right? She looks at every dollar. I'm African. She's a little obsessed. And I'd rather have her that way, believe me. So I'll never forget, 1989, right? I'm going through my training at JT Moran to be a broker. And if you don't know JT Moran, this was one of the largest penny stock firms in the country. I actually got
Like Boiler Room?
Yeah, it is the background for Boiler Room. That's where I worked. I provided some of the information. Vin Diesel plays my boss in that film. And all the crazy things that were being done. But I would drive in the parking lot, and I had like this 1984, 82, like Dodge Stratus, something really weird. And there's Porsches and Mercedes and all of this stuff. And I'm like, wow, brokers are like, this is what they do. And every one of those people forced me to buy a car, like get in debt as soon as possible.
You'll work harder.
Right.
That's what they told me when
Did
I
they
first
tell
started
you that
working.
too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You need to buy a car, buy a house. Oh, yeah. You're going to work harder. Revenues are going to increase.
It's, oh boy, Lance is trolling again. So, I mean, it is, last night I had a dream about Lance. We were on vacation. I was telling Brent this. And we were going through someplace, we were overseas, and he just decides to leave me. See you later. Bye. Hey, dude, you're my ride. We'll have to analyze that later with my psychologist. Figure that one out. So it was an eye-opener, this new reality check of $250,000 or more living paycheck to paycheck. Obviously, consumers earning more than $250,000 or more are 40% more likely to engage with financial products. How when they're living paycheck to paycheck? I mean, living above our means is such an epidemic. You want to talk about a real epidemic, Dr. Fauci? A real pandemic? Living above our means. That's the real pandemic around here. The government does it. We do it. And you know what, Danny? I mean, I'll blow our horns here a bit. Every one of us as partners, you, me, Connie, all of that, we are trying to be fiscal examples for the clients we work with. We're not out there buying these fancy cars and big homes. Well, Lance has got an estate, but that's, he's the king. But I'm saying is, for the most part, we are doing the right things fiscally. Because how could you sit and meet with somebody if you're in massive debt, if you are exploiting credit cards, if you're doing all these things wrong? How do you sit across from somebody and say, listen, this is what you need to do. Here are our financial guardrails. We follow these. Mm-hmm. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's really important, actually. And it's like going to the your nutritionist or a trainer, and they're just obese, morbidly obese for that matter. They don't take their own advice. That's a problem. And so we're expected to give advice and to make sure that we're putting people on the right track. And look, I'm all for having nice things, for the big house, the nice cars, whatever it is you want to do.
If you can afford it.
If you
follow the rules,
right.
And you don't follow the rules that are given to you by banks and brokerage firms, like 28% of your take home of your gross income is going to be used for a mortgage payment. No, we created guardrails. We have better rules for you to follow. These are rules that people that we guide and advise have built their wealth using these rules. They're not pleasant.
No, you're going to have to go above and beyond. And so one thing that we always talk about and you have to think about as well is that most of these big firms that are touting these specific rules, there's a conflict of interest somewhere around there, because they're also trying to sell you the mortgage. They're trying to, oh yeah, you need an auto loan, go get this. And they're okay letting you get stretched a little bit. And so as an advisor, you need to have somebody who's willing to tell you no, or hey, this does not work. Here's another angle, another way that you should be addressing or looking at this. And that's one of the bigger problems, Rich, is I don't think that we have people anymore that are willing to have those tough conversations and to put people on the right track for success. And that's the issue when it all boils down to it. Nobody's holding anybody responsible anywhere.
And no one's going to bail you out.
Oh, well.
I mean, we bail out, taxpayers bail out everybody, but not you and not us.
Yeah.
We'll bail out institutions too big to fail, but not us. We get back, we're going to talk about how much the average working boomer has saved for retirement. When we get back. My name's Vince Friday.
The Real Investment Advice blog. It's required reading for the informed investor. Catch it today at realinvestmentadvice.com.
In 1999, a parafiduciary group of financial advisors were busted by corporate giants for trying to operate in their clients' best interest. These men promptly escaped from a high-cost margin environment to the Houston Energy Corridor. Today, still excoriated by their former employers, they survive as protectors of others' fortunes. If you have a problem about preserving capital, if no one else can help, and you can find them right here, maybe you should hire the RIA team.
Small businesses are discovering that attracting and retaining top talent come down to more than just salary. In today's highly competitive job market, compensation is more than just wages. Hi, I'm Tom Allen, RIA Advisors Retirement Plan Consultant. Healthcare and retirement plans can make the difference in hiring and retaining the best employees. We can show you how to build an affordable, effective employment package that delivers true value for your workers and your business. Call me toll-free at 855-RIA-PLAN or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. A passive investment portfolio requires active risk management. It's not a choice, it's necessity. Diversification doesn't protect against risk of loss. Let us actively help you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Can't catch the whole show now? Listen to our podcast later at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Every day this week so far, CNBC. Markets in turmoil. Every day. Yes, we know. We get it. Markets are in turmoil.
Is that like starting every newscast with breaking news?
Yeah, CNN recently is making some changes. They're actually going to stop using breaking news as much.
The Real Investment Show podcast. Same show, your schedule.
They broke the breaking news. Not every story is breaking news.
At realinvestmentadvice.com.
Not every story is news.
Anyone can sell you insurance, and they'll gladly take your premium dollars. The RIA Insurance Agency can provide you with insurance solutions tailor-made for your needs and lifestyle. Because everyone's assets are different, let RIA Insurance review what you need to protect and how. We won't sell you insurance, but what you need will be a matter of policy. RIA Insurance Agency. 888-915-0780. 888-915-0780. RealInvestmentAdvice.com. Click on the insurance tab.
Real Investment Show podcasts are now available from Stitcher Smart Radio at Stitcher.com.
Hi, Lance Roberts here. If you're like most people, your 401k plan represents the bulk of your retirement assets. And unfortunately for many, managing your 401k plan can be difficult. There's so many choices, so many things to consider. With just a quick email, a couple of questions, you can put RIA Advisors to work for you managing your 401k plan. It's a quick and easy application. Just simply click Ask a Question at realinvestmentadvice.com or give us a call at 855-RIA-PLAN. That's realinvestmentadvice.com.
Have market gyrations caused you to lose sleep? If so, it's because you have more risk in your portfolio than you realize. It's time to reevaluate your long-term investing strategy with RIA Advisors. Our disciplined approach can help eliminate unnecessary risk. If you think it's time to work with an advisor who puts your interests first, it's time for Real Investment Advice. RIAadvisors.com.
You're listening to The Real Investment Show.
Do you think a good bumper sticker for an electric car would be, I'm not tailgating, I just need to get to a charging station?
Might go.
Might be a good pillow.
Yeah.
I always think that when I'm tailgated by, like, a Tesla. Dude, there's no charging station around here, man.
If you're
I know
being
you're rushed.
tailgated...
It's like when you have to go to the bathroom real bad and you got to get home.
If you're getting tailgated by a Tesla, by a Prius... That's
well,
sad.
when I'm on
Rich
Luetta,
probably just made somebody mad.
when you're on Luetta, you don't move very you don't move.
The best thing I've seen recently was on 99, a Tesla pulled over on the side of the road, a small generator and 2 gas cans. I thought, oh man, the irony.
There's a company out there's a terrorist group out there called Tire Changer or something. They're going out and they're slashing tires of all the SUVs. They just hit New York.
Really?
Yeah, what they do is they slash the tires because you're killing them, with your gas guzzler, but they're hitting hybrids and electric cars too because they have a carbon footprint. So it's all about taking public transit. I can't remember what it's called. It's TYRE, but that's interesting. They hit New Zealand and all that, but they just hit New York and got about 47 SUVs and slashed all their tires.
Never mind the carbon footprint it takes to recycle the tires that have been slashed and produce the tires that have to be put back on the car.
Stop critical thinking.
Would
you stop with your critical thinking, Brent?
Come on, it's Friday. It's a long weekend.
You know, Spock would be like hung from his
head would
toenails
explode.
and hung from it. Yeah. So this is a survey courtesy of Brett Aarons at MarketWatch, but this is pretty interesting. This is a company out there called Anytime Estimate. It's a home financing and real estate website, and they're asking about how prepared Americans are for retirement. So it's about 1,000 working Americans conducted, said that less than half of those surveyed have saved $100,000. Median age of 60, average savings of around $112,000. This is the funniest part. 1/4 of those surveyed, 30% of millennials, said they were planning to rely on cryptocurrencies to finance some of their golden years. Oh, that's golden. That's some golden year right there. So then probably, this is the saddest part of the survey, 80% of people expected to see their living standards fall in retirement. 10% feared they will not be able to retire at all. So,
we look at all these different surveys that are out there, and there's plenty of them, but they're all saying pretty much the same thing. I mean, we know what the median and average 401k or retirement savings is. We know what people have in the bank, and it's not enough. So what's going to be done to get people from here to there? And are we going to see the tiny home, agenda that you're waiting for? Have you invested in a large tiny home lot? Is that what's going on?
I'd love to do that. Listen, tiny homes are the bomb, man. I'm telling you, I wrote about it in my book 10 years ago, and I said this would be a big trend. And I don't know how seniors, older Americans, are going to live. Many of them, I think it was over 60%, are going to be alone. A lot of them are going to be women. And you're going to have some form of communal living, smaller living.
That's it. I mean, that is it, right?
Yeah, I don't know how else you do it, Danny. I mean, listen, we always say you don't know what your number is for retirement. I know we have clients that have less than what you would believe, and their retirements are fine. But these are like masterly crafted. They're not. They have Social Security. They work longer. They have a part-time job. Their house is paid off. They might use reverse mortgage. They have some form of guaranteed income. They're cobbling together a lifestyle. But it's planned, and they're happy. But, everybody's retirement's going to look different because of these numbers and the retirement reality of people, I think, Danny, working longer, whether it's in the current position or a part-time job, just to keep cash flow, which is the lifeblood of retirement, moving.
I'll tell you what, we talk about the bad numbers. We talk about what people are going to have to do, changes that need to be made. But I have visited with 2 people this week, 2 clients in their 50s, retiring. Say, we're getting out of the rat race. We're done.
They're done.
And man, I mean, talk about so happy and proud on the other side of the table that you can look at somebody and say, you've done all the right work. You've done all of these things to get you there. But it wasn't easy. Mm-mm. And, these were the people who were the millionaire next door that nobody knew about. But they kept socking away. They lived well beneath their means, and now they're going to be able to enjoy it.
That is still, if you have high school kids, that is still one of the best books.
It is
for them to read. The Millionaire Next Door. I will tell you, every one of those habits are admirable. Delayed gratification, living below their means. I mean, they need a revision of that book. I think. I mean, but that book itself stands alone as far as the information and the rules. and the experiences that are listed.
Maybe need some rules around crypto in there.
Yeah, don't
Would that be
depend
the
on
update?
crypto for retirement. What are you drinking? Oh my God!
You know what I haven't seen lately?
What?
I haven't seen any of those E-Trade commercials.
I haven't seen E-Trade commercials, and I haven't really seen any real crypto commercials. Like, I haven't seen the Matt Damon one. You know.
Well, I'm
Or
just
that-
talking about the commercials in general, where they're walking to their jet. You can have this lifestyle too.
those are gone.
Or their big yacht.
Yeah, no, those are.
I missed the E-Trade baby.
That was the best.
It was probably grown up by now.
Yeah. Where is the E-Trade
But
baby?
it is
Who can
funny.
find that?
To Danny's point, if you're sensitive to the ebb and flow of commercials during market cycles, it is really amazing to see what totally disappears. And E-Trade has absolutely totally disappeared.
It has. Well,
And a lot of these crypto commercials every darn minute with what that basketball player, whatever his name is, and, Matt Damon, those are gone. It's, yeah. The scariest part, Danny, was during the financial crisis. You know how many auto commercials there are, right? Every minute there's like an automobile commercial on just regular TV. They all went away. Like, I didn't see one automobile commercial through that whole process. Like, people were hunkering down and all that. Crypto for retirement sounds like an activist group. Yeah, 3D. It does, doesn't it? Like that tire slashing group.
Well, who needs a car when you're locked down?
Yeah.
Well,
know?
good point Rolf made on the YouTube channel. Says now gold is the go-to asset. And, in times of volatility, that seems to be what everybody flocks to. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked as well as what it historically has, at least not up to this point.
And Danny, if we're correct, now listen, it's really great to sit across from clients and say, and they go, Rich, should we hold back our spending? Should we not take this trip? And you run their plans, and they're incredibly successful because we built this kind of turbulence in. And our forward-looking returns for asset classes like stocks and bonds are much lower. We did this back in 2019, and like I always looked stupid for a few years. But if we're right that you're going to be in this secular stagnation for asset price returns, then, financial discipline, maximizing guaranteed income, working longer, there are going to be things that you are going to have to do to retire. If we're wrong about this secular stagnation in asset class returns, and you still had all those habits, well, we did a good thing. And I would rather have this conversation with you, Danny, that, hey, well, first, your plan's not interrupted. You could take this trip.
Mm-hmm.
I have clients that didn't want to take this trip to Alaska and other things and I said, no, it's in the plan. It's in the plan, and their plan works. So go enjoy your trip. I'd rather have that discussion than, oh my gosh, this is what just happened here.
Well, I'm
We
having a
need
lot
to
of
make
those
a big
discussions,
change.
right? And we're having those exact discussions. We're saying, hey, you have big plans this summer? No, heck no. We're not doing anything. We're battening down the hatches. We're hunkering down.
Mm-hmm.
And many times we can look at the plan and say, you know what? And look, I always think that's a great idea when you can do it. But I don't want you to be people to be distressed about it either. Like, if you're good with that and you're okay with that mindset, hey, great.
Mm-hmm.
But many times we do run that plan and say, hey, you're in great shape. And I think that's a really nice thing for people to have that sense of a little bit of sense of peace in that aspect, that you don't have to stay up at night. You don't have to worry about this so much. And look, it doesn't feel good for anybody when you're down. I tell people all the time, look, we're down much less than the benchmarks, but it's no consolation prize. You're still down.
There is no,
It's-
right.
yeah.
It's just like, you're bleeding less
Correct.
than somebody else. But what's nice is when you can go back to a financial plan and those numbers are not phased. In other words, no, we've built it for this. Your financial discipline fits perfect in this. And you're still fine. Your numbers haven't budged. They're still highly successful. That's a sense of relief. If you want to cut spending, now I've had people come to me and say, Rich, I'm still looking at my budget. I'm still thinking about cutting my withdrawal. Great. If you want to do that, that's fine. But it's in your control. You don't have to do that, Danny. You don't have to. This is a choice. I have one client says, I think I'm going to go back to work. I said, why? Well, you don't need the money. If you want to go back to work to, be emotionally engaged, be more social, you want a little spending cash above and beyond, that's fine. But you don't have to. That's the best conversations that I can have.
But the people who are historically some of the better people in retirement, in the sense of they plan this, they know this, and they're willing to do those things, they're typically way better off.
Yes.
It's a whole lot of better there.
Yeah. When we get back, we're going to continue on these topics here on Financial Fitness Friday. Stay tuned.
Get daily investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Hurricane season is here, and along the Texas Gulf Coast, we know how to prepare. What we don't always know is which way the storm will go, and if a hurricane does come your way, whether your house will flood. Fortunately, you can get flood insurance. Unfortunately, flood insurance rates have skyrocketed. Don't be at risk. Let the specialists at RIA Insurance assess your needs and shop your coverage for the best rates possible. Another service from realinvestmentadvice.com. Click on the insurance tab, realinvestmentadvice.com.
Hi, Lance Roberts here. If you're like most people, your 401k plan represents the bulk of your retirement assets, and unfortunately for many, managing your 401k plan can be difficult. There's so many choices, so many things to consider. With just a quick email, a couple of questions, you can put RIA advisors to work for you managing your 401k plan. Get started right now at the website, realinvestmentadvice.com, or simply call our toll-free number, 855-RIA-PLAN at realinvestmentadvice.com.
Do you know what you don't know when hiring and retaining quality employees? Compensation is more than just wages. It's personal time off, the vacation days, healthcare benefits, a 401k. Do you know what's important to them? Hi, I'm Tom Allen, RIA Advisors Retirement Plan Consultant. Let us show you how to make the most of an affordable, effective package that will deliver true value for your business and your employees. Call me toll free at 855-RIA-PLAN or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
And now, another page from the Real Investment Advisors Investing Manifesto. Manage risk and volatility rather than trying to manage gains. You don't have to be right all the time. Long-term investing success is a 70% gain. Let us help you reach your financial goals with RIA Advisors. Neither bull nor bear. RIA Advisors, 281-501-1791 or online at realinvestmentadvice.com.
The Real Investment Show.
I have to tell you how much I don't like to talk about Social Security when Lance is trolling us on YouTube. But
It's so tempting.
the nonpartisan committee for a responsible federal budget, Danny, they're estimating that seniors could receive a COLA hike of 10.8% in early 2023. That's a new analysis from the nonpartisan group.
But where did we get the 10% if all the inflation numbers have been in the 8% range?
I don't know.
Are they expecting
I think if it
inflation to get
grinds
worse?
down, you're going to be still close to 7,
Yeah, I agree.
8%. But we have to see what's going to go on, especially for at your Medicare component, your Medicare Part B. And there were some really decent hikes for this year, and part of it was this new insulin drug. So
There was a $22 hike per month. I mean, that's pretty big.
yeah, it was pretty good. So, the Senior Citizens League, it's a really good group. I suggest everybody who is in financial planning, everybody, I don't care what age you are, if you want to understand, this is the largest nonpartisan seniors group. And it'll give you an idea of what older Americans are thinking about, along with helpful information. But this is a bill from Susan Collins and Jean Shaheen. This is for the insulin. This is bipartisan legislation. Listen, they always have to come up, the Insulin Act. So you got to sit there and think about how to make this sound good. You ready? Improving needed safeguards for users of life-saving insulin now. Insulin. It's a good thing, though. They're going to try to lower the costs of insulin, right? So 1 out of 3 seniors lives with diabetes. And this is the most expensive, obviously, chronic condition in the nation, $327 billion a year. I don't know if you read the latest report on obesity in the United States, Danny, but it's
not good.
No. So they also look at the Kaiser Family Foundation. We look at the Kaiser Family Foundation for trends in healthcare costs. Part D, which is your prescription drug enrollees, spent nearly $1 billion out of pocket on insulin in 2019. That's 4 times the amount spent in 2007. So this bill wants to place a $35 monthly cap on the cost of insulin for patients with private insurance as well as those enrolled in Medicare. Daddy.
Well, I think that we're going to need to put a cap on a lot of these medications. Unfortunately, here in America, we're paying for much of that research and development, whereas in most other countries, the cost of prescription drugs is much cheaper.
Now, I will tell you, one of the books on my summer reading list, which I'm writing for Lance when he gets back from his world tour, it's the Lance World Tour 2022.
Summer World Tour.
The Summer World Tour.
Because he does a winter world tour and he does a spring world tour.
And there's something usually happens. We just got to make sure Mrs. Roberts is okay.
Can't wait for the anecdotes.
Yeah, no, me neither. So
it's all material for the show for the next 6 months.
Right.
One of the books, Tony Robbins' Life Force, 792 pages. This is a meaty read. But I will tell you, AI is coming for where traditional medicine has failed. Preventative medicine. It's fascinating, Danny, what they're looking at to combat Alzheimer's. All these think tanks, private funded think tanks around the world, looking to eradicate cancers using robotics, more targeted chemotherapy. I mean, it's a fascinating, extensive read if you want to understand. He also has some really good ideas of how to get healthier overall. So, we always say we always connect health and wealth in retirement. The average couple is going to spend, according to Fidelity, over $310 or $15,000 a year. I mean, a lifetime for health care.
65-year-old couple.
Yeah, 65-year-old, right, for expenses, Medicare premiums. But even if you have the money, what if I'm not healthy and I can't be active in retirement and not analyzing my lifestyle, then what kind of retirement am I really going to have? Not good, right?
Well, unfortunately, it's going to be much differently than what most people expect or plan. And that's the problem when you think about all these different expenses, the cost of it, the inflation, and nothing else keeping up with it. That becomes a bigger and bigger issue, especially for people that are just underfunded.
Absolutely. So if you haven't signed up for the Senior Citizens League, they do a great job. So here's the latest poll, Danny, give you an idea. Due to high inflation, do you support a temporary 2-year suspension on the federal taxation of Social Security benefits to help address unexpected bills? Because there has been talk, Danny, to maybe pull back taxation on Social Security. I don't think that there's anything hopeful about that. I don't think that's going to happen. But these polls become big. A source of intelligence for the group.
Well, I think the one thing that people have to remember is that, and most people don't realize this until you actually get on Social Security and you see, oh, shoot, we have to pay taxes on this too. And so you're either going to pay 50% of it or 85% of it will be taxable depending on the income that you have. So what Rich is referring to is that they're talking about a holiday or a reprieve from from Social Security being taxed. And 58% of the people said, yeah, heck yeah, we're all for not not being taxed on Social Security. The issue is, as always, is that how are you going to make that difference up? And we have so few workers and so many retirees. We have a problem with Social Security.
Yeah, no, we do. I mean, we don't have enough workers. I mean, in some points that Lance makes about Social Security, he's absolutely correct. The problem you have is how many older Americans depend on it. And I told Lance, you're going to have to turn your compound into a tiny home community and have these people live there. You know, maybe they could be exercise for the dogs, but you're going to see that people are not going to be able to live and survive without Social Security. It has, unfortunately, become America's pension. That's not what it was designed to be. It was designed to supplement corporate pensions and other things. Obviously, that pensions are rare, and Social Security becomes a very important element to the overall plan. And this taxation component, people don't realize when they sock all their money away in tax-deferred accounts. They try to manage their tax bracket, and they don't have any tax control, and they don't understand that their marginal rate's probably higher, depending on 50 cents to 85 cents of every dollar being taxed of their Social Security. So their rates, their marginal rates are a lot higher than they believe when you take that taxation on Social Security into account. And that's what your financial partners should be helping you to understand. That's why, Danny, surgical Roth conversion. Roth conversions have just come into the news so much over the last few years, and we've been talking about them a long time, where people are saying, hey, especially with asset prices depressed, I could move money at a lower price. I could move assets at a lower price and hopefully gain the appreciation. But that money is not taxed federally. It's not taxed from a Social Security perspective, and it doesn't count toward the charges that would lead to additional payments on Social Security or IRMA. So having different buckets or different accounts, we call diversification of accounts in retirement, becomes very, very important. Unless you know for sure, even with the taxation on Social Security, you're going to be in the lowest bracket. Well, then you don't need to worry.
And listen, you hope that you're not in the lowest tax bracket, because that likely means either one, everything's in a Roth and some type of life insurance policy that's going to allow you to borrow the funds and take them out tax-free, or you just don't have enough income for it to matter. And that's going to be a pretty difficult lifestyle, I think. So Center on Budget and Policy Priorities actually did a new study, and it says that more than half of retirees are on or living using Social Security for more than half of the retirement income.
Wow.
And 1 in 4, it provides 90% of their income.
1 in 4.
1 in 4, so 25%. That means 25% of people out there who are retired makes up 90% of their income. But I mean, that's what the numbers would
listen
suggest.
To the show? We're just depressing.
I know.
Next show, we're playing Johnny Cash music.
And that's not depressing either. I mean, it can be, right?
I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. Genius. Genius.
He's going to update the lyrics. I'm stuck in COVID prison.
Oh, man. But again, I'm sure everybody who listens to this show and all the crazy people on YouTube are doing just fine. We're not worried about you. You're doing all the right things. And you've got to teach your kids to do the right things. And you got to be an example, because your kids watch you. They watch your relationship with money very, very closely. They take their signs from you. Thank goodness I listened to my grandparents and not my parents. Oh my gosh. My parents were the worst with money. So your kid is going to look at that and go, I'm not going to be that way, or I am going to be that way. So someone in the family is going to have to be a good example with money. If it's not you, Papa or Mama could be it. Somebody has to. In Danny's family, they don't worry. Those kids are already setting budgets and have piggy banks overloaded with cash. They're doing good. Because Michelle, see, you have to be married to somebody who's aligned with you, right, Danny? On those values for saving money. If you have one who's a spender and one who's a saver, you know, a lot of times that's not going to work. I've been happy to break up many relationships. Thank you.
Yeah, this is not going to work.
Yeah, I said, you know what, guys? I think you should reassess this whole thing. Get out. Get out now. All right, so have a great 4th of July weekend. We have a best of next week, all week. But the week after, Danny and I will be back with very select guests for you, and hope you'll be returning with us. Be safe, no fireworks, watch your puppies, watch your kitties. See you soon.
It's a rich man's world.